Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In this one, I'm super excited to share with you on how we can use AWS Lambda functions inside of a WayScript program. We'll be invoking them by using the Bodo3 library inside of a Python module. Let's dive in. If you've never used WayScript before, don't worry. We'll go through every step, that way you know exactly what's going on. So let's talk about a few different things before we get started. What is an AWS Lambda function? Well, an AWS Lambda function is just essentially a way where we can tell AWS to run some code without having to worry about all the infrastructure. What is WayScript? WayScript is a way that we can do something very similar, but we get an interface to build in and we can very easily share with our team. So what makes WayScript a great tool to do this? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. If we have members on our team that we want to build an application for, we can just build a program and then share it with our team members. Also, we don't have to give up any rights to our AWS console or endpoints. Instead, we can just invoke them by using Python code on a separate platform, and we can have a hub of all these different tools. Of course, you can accomplish a very similar use case inside of WayScript without having to use a Lambda function, and you would do that just by using a Python module or any other code module that you may be coding in, such as something like JavaScript or Java. Let's not do that, and let's assume that you either have these tools already built out on your AWS console Lambda functions, or you just like to place all your tools in one big place. So building out this tool I've already showed you, we can just use Python code to do that. WayScript is pretty cool because we can just directly input whatever code we want and create very dynamic and custom tools. So how are we going to do this? Well, we'll use a library called Bodo3. Whenever we use a Python library inside of WayScript, what we'll get is this requirements.txt over here to the left. And we can just include the library that we need to import here. This makes sure that we have it at runtime so our Python code executes successfully. Now let me just copy some code over. So we have a function here where we'll use this Bodo3 library to create a client. This client will access Lambda resources on AWS, and we can pass in the region name that we're working in. We'll also need an IAM user where they have access to Lambda functions, and we need to include their access key and their secret access key. I'll just put these in as strings for here, and don't be like me and share these with everyone. So you'll want to keep these secret because what they do is give access to your AWS resources. I'll go and make sure I delete this user after this video. That way I'm not giving access to these resources to everyone. If you're not filming a video and need a little bit more privacy with your keys, you can always use the WayScript.secrets manager where we can put these keys in and their values. But for me, I'll just keep it simple and include them as a string. Now that we're building our client, what we need to do is to call that client, and we have some code for that. And we need to invoke a Lambda function of our choice. So my response will just be invoking this Lambda client where I'm calling the function that I have named here as HelloWorldTemplate. So this is just showing you a basic way that we can get this connected. Your function name will be whatever your function name is here, and we can also pass files to this function by using another keyword argument. And I'll link all that information down below in the description, so go and check it out if you want to use it. With this, let's go ahead and run this to make sure my keys are okay, and we get back a successful response. Running this, we'll give it a few seconds, and we see that we get back the response of this invoke down here in our log. So we know it works. Now, we already have our function set up, and we're calling that AWS Lambda function. Cool. So we already know how we can call Lambda functions from inside WayScript. Now, we don't want to come onto the platform and click a manual play button every time. So instead, what we'll do is use one of the triggers available to us. The one that we'll use in this tutorial is called the Datadog trigger, and we'll turn this on. We'll make sure to include this webhook data over here to the right. And what this is anytime we get an event to our Datadog account, We can choose to send that as a webhook to the WayScript platform. Then we can activate programs with it. So in this case, I've turned this on and I've connected it. Now that I have this set up, let me go ahead and send a Datadog alert to my account. So we should see this script execute from that alert. So I just sent that through. We'll give it a few seconds to load here. After a few seconds, we see that the program fires and we get that response again. Sweet. So now we know how to automatically trigger our function. We know how to call Lambda functions. And finally, for one last bit for me to leave you with is you could imagine that that event that's created inside of WayScript, we could do conditionals on it. So we'll do it down here below our functions and we'll say event equals variables. And this is how we store WayScript variables over here on the right. So is event. And then title will be event.get and title. That's just because this is a dictionary that has a key, a title, and we'll pull out that value. Then we can say if data in title, and then do whatever function we wanted below. You could imagine that this setup lets you conditionally go through your Datadog alerts, call different AWS Lambda functions depending on the alert, and then give you back a response. So that's the idea on how this one works. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please let us know and we'll help you out. Until next time.